Hey smugglings, what is happening? This is going to be the review of Mulholland Drive, released in 2001, starring Naomi Watts, Laura Harring and Justin Theroux, and this was directed by David Lynch. In light of David Lynch's recent passing, I want to dedicate a few videos reviewing some of his greatest works, and this is definitely one of them and one of my favourite films. And that's been confirmed recently after rewatching it twice and listening to two great videos on this film, and I want to point you guys to those if you are interested. And the channels are London City Girl and Twin Perfect. They do great videos on the themes, motifs and symbolism of this film, and I will link those both below for you guys to check out. I first became interested in Lynch when I was in school and we were doing media studies, and one of the films that we were going to be discussing was Eraserhead, and I remember watching that on Netflix at the time and absolutely loving it. I thought it was so strange, so surreal, so absurd in the best possible way, and really loved watching it. And then I discovered more of his works. I started watching Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, and I fell in love with his creative vision and what he had to bring to film creatively. The film begins with this young woman in the back of a black limousine, and she's been held at gunpoint by her chauffeur, and then there's another car that comes crashing into that car and she's able to escape the scene, and then she goes to a vacant apartment, and little does she know that that apartment is going to be lived in by this young Canadian actor that has just come to town, and she's going to be staying in her aunt's apartment where she currently is. And the two meet, and then we find out that the young woman in the back of the car was amnesiac, and she has to find out who she is and why she was being held at gunpoint. And that's the central mystery of the film, is that these two characters are going to work together to find that out. As with a few David Lynch films, we have multiple vignettes, so we also have this director that is doing a very highly anticipated project, and he is casting the lead actor, and he's in a meeting and he's being told by two emissaries of the King of Hollywood that he has to cast this particular woman, and he's having none of it, and he is on the run from them, and the film follows him as well as he's being chased by these emissaries and these people that are trying to get this lead girl cast in this particular film. And that is that particular part of the film. I'm going to be delving into spoilers in this film because there's so much to discuss, and I will not be able to cover everything in this film, and I will not be able to articulate it as well as the videos I've listed below will do. But I will cover some of the aspects that stick out to me the most and resonate with me the most in this particular film. I think the amazing thing about David Lynch is that he truly uses the language of film to his advantage. Visually, sonically, narratively, he really does take advantage of it. And within this film, the essential distillation of what's actually happening is that 2/3 of the film are the dream of Diane Selwyn. That is the young Canadian actor that has come from Ontario and has found the amnesiac woman. But the reality is that this is the idealized version of what happens when she came to Hollywood. She came to Hollywood, she had all this promise, and she only lost out on great parts because the director was being blackmailed for not casting this particular lead actor, and she creates reasons as to why she was not cast in the right film, and she tries to justify the reasons as to why her life didn't go according to plan, and that's what is happening in this particular film. The final third of the film is the reality of the situation, I believe, and David Lynch does not comment on people's interpretation of this film, and I totally understand that because he wants people to figure out the film for himself, and I do appreciate that very much. And David Lynch does operate on the subconscious level quite a lot with this film, so he'll have characters that dream what they want and what they want to achieve, and he will dwell within that space for quite a long time and then shift to reality, and that is what he's done here. and I think it's so amazing. And the film follows the dream narrative until we arrive at the theatre where the revelations are made real, where Diane Selwyn has been living a fantasy, as there are various lines that are uttered to indicate that this is not what is actually happening. We see the character of Rita within the dream, but Camilla in real life, uttered the words silencio, silence. No hey banda, there is no band. No hey orchestra, there is no orchestra. These are lines that she utters in her sleep, and these lines are present within the theatre that they go to, as Rita believes that they must go there, and they make their way there. And this is perhaps my favourite scene in the film, where you have the woman on stage singing a Roy Orbison song, and it's one of the most beautiful scenes in the film, and very sad and very emotional as you realise what the character's actually done, and there's a lot of regret and remorse and a lot of sadness in what she's done, and it's very powerful. And it was always a scene that I remembered quite a lot when thinking back on this film. I'm not going to be saying anything that's particularly new here, as what has already been said about Mulholland Drive seems to be very valid, and there's a lot of great theories and interpretations of this film. And the one that I subscribe to the most is that the majority of what we see in the film is comprised of Diane's dream, the main character, the actor that's come from Canada and is trying to make it in Hollywood. The majority of the film is her dream, and then the final third is the reality of the situation. So she dreamt that she came to Hollywood, she met this young woman, and she had an amazing life, and she became a great actor. But the reality is that she came to Hollywood, she met this young woman, and the young woman betrayed her and humiliated her and took advantage of their relationship. And due to this fact, Diane put out a hit on her and had her assassinated. And she's been living with regret ever since. And it's a really amazing film. And I will probably go further into the film in a subsequent video at some point. It is a lot of work to analyze this film because there's so much going on. But I really do love this film. I love films that have the backdrop of Hollywood, and when they're done well, it's amazing to see. I do have to say, guys, I really struggle to put into words why I loved this particular film, and there's just so much contained within it, and I will have to work on that. But I really did love this film, and it really does stick in my mind, and is definitely one of David Lynch's best works. I'm going to give Mulholland Drive a 10 out of 10. It is an incredible film, one of my absolute favourites, and a very unique, dreamy and atmospheric neo-noir mystery that is unlike anything you will ever see, most likely, and it holds its place as one of the most discussed and wildly debated films of the 21st century, and I think that is very much earned for this particular film, and I urge you all to watch it if you've not. And that is my review for Mulholland Drive. I really appreciate you watching, guys, and I will see you soon, guys. So you guys take care, and I will see you soon.